Song on the new Van Halen album called Right Now, and it's got a line in it. It says, reach out and grab the moment right here, right now. Merry Christmas, Dallas, from Van Halen.
Oh, yeah. Yep. How you doing? Wednesday night.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
All righty, Wednesday, Halenville, live, December the 8th, 2021. John Conklin, Analog Kid Tommy. We have a special guest tonight. We are talking about the December the 4th, 1991 Free Dallas show. 30 years ago, a couple of days, that famous show in downtown Dallas, and you were in Dallas a month ago or so, John.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I accidentally stumbled upon the spot in the old West End where, and I said to my wife, we're sitting outside eating at a restaurant, and I said, this place, I feel like I've been here before. I don't know what it is. I feel like I've been here before, and it was bothering me. I couldn't figure it out. And then it started to come to me, and I said, this had to be the spot where Van Halen had the free concert 30 years ago. So I got my phone out and I Googled it, and sure enough, it was. And then I started exploring and found where the stage was, and we're going to show some still shots and some video of that. And then, we have a special guest here tonight too. Hopefully we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. He's coming to us from his ranch, the Barbarossa Ponderosa in outside of Dallas, and the legendary radio broadcasting legend, like I said, Redbeard. And we, as Van Halen fans, we all know Redbeard from his syndicated program In the Studio, which he's been doing over 30 years, probably closer to 35 years. And I mean, doing great in-depth interviews with rock and roll legends. I mean, I know that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame licensed his library because his interviews are so probing and deep, and with some informative. So he's the real deal, and he's been a program director, music director, and radio stations all over. He's over 50 years he's been doing this, so he's a legend, this guy Redbeard. So everybody, I'd like to welcome Redbeard. He was having problems with his feed for the internet on his ranch, but he's on the phone with Tony.
Yeah,
and any questions?
Redbeard is joining us by phone. Redbeard, are you there?
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for anything in the world. It's my first visit to Halenville, and I just want to know, do I have to show my vaccine card? I'm double vaxxed, and I even got a booster.
All right. Well, you're good to go then, Redbeard.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir. Welcome. We're doing this by phone. Hope we can pull this off. Got a lot of battery. So, Redbeard, that famous voice at the start of that free Dallas show, we played the audio of it as we started.
Wow, that was such an event, and it was such an event that is so improbable that I actually have read in a few places on the internet where people say that it's an urban legend, that it actually never happened. And so I certainly got to join you and everybody here at Halenville to make sure that the fans and all rock bands in general realize that yes, on December 4th, 1991, Van Halen and Sammy Hagar in particular made good on a promise that was made to play a free concert for the people of Dallas Fort Worth, and we blocked off the streets at 4 p.m. on a in the middle of business, and they played for free. And if you've got time, I'd be glad to tell you the story. It's a kind of a saga. It's quite a story, and it actually started. It predates even before Sammy Hagar joined Van Halen.
Huh. How is that?
You want me to get into it?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Can everybody mute their mics so we can hear better?
Here's how.
Tony, is your mic muted? Tony,
unmute your mic.
unmute your mic, Tony.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right.
Sammy Hagar actually had two breakout markets in the nation: St. Louis and Dallas Fort Worth. Those were where he was able to be a headliner first.
Right.
And in 1985, Sammy Hagar played two sold-out nights at Reunion Arena, which was then the big arena in Dallas.
Right.
Well, he got the notorious what we call Texas throat. Even if you don't have problems with pollen and hay fever and allergies, even people that don't have allergies end up having problems when they get to North Texas. There's something in this is pollen central, okay?
Right.
So Sam came in headlining two sold-out shows at the Big Room, 18,000 seats both nights, and he got laryngitis.
Huh.
And he performed both nights, but he was very hoarse, and of course it bummed him out because Texas is special to him. It was a breakout market for him, and so that's how it kind of started. He felt that he kind of had something to prove anyway. Then he joins Van Halen shortly after that, becomes the lead singer of Van Halen. Then Van Halen plays on their own Monsters of Rock tour. They play the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Right.
And it happens again.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy gets hoarse, and he loses his voice. This time, in front of about 70,000 people.
Right.
And he's mortified. He's absolutely mortified. Now, I got to tell you, I was there for all of these shows. Both of the shows at Reunion Arena in 85, and then, of course, this show, I think it was 89 in the Cotton Bowl for Van Halen. And everybody had a great time. They noticed his voice was rough and stuff like that, but certainly nobody wanted their money back or anything like that. But Sam, being, the trooper he is, he blurts out from the stage of the Cotton Bowl in front of 70,000 people. He says, "Man, this happened to me before. When I played here before, you people deserve better than this. I tell you what, Van Halen's going to come back, and we're going to play a free show for all you people." Now, the scream you could hear backstage yelling, "No!" at the top of his voice was Van Halen manager back then, Ed Leffler. Ed Leffler was Sammy Hagar's longtime manager and had become Van Halen's manager when Sam joined the band.
Right.
And Ed Leffler knew the logistics and the legal and the financial aspects of what Sammy just said was virtually impossible. So, after 70,000 people heard it, and my radio station, Q102, broadcast it, you can imagine the press and the calls the next day at my radio station and the press in the newspapers the next day was quite a buzz.
Right.
Well, there was no official comment from anybody because band management was just hoping it would go away. Well, it didn't go away. We would get calls for months, and then it became a year, and then it became a couple of years. And then a local reporter in Dallas-Fort Worth by the name of Robert Wolonsky, he wrote in a local newspaper, the Dallas Observer, whatever happened to that promise that Sammy Hagar made that Van Halen was going to play a free show when he lost his voice at the Cotton Bowl. And so he stirred the pot with this article, a year and a half later, and then the radio station that I worked at, we started getting calls all over again saying, "Yeah, what happened about that?" So when we least expected it, I get this message to come down to the big boss's office, and I go down, and the big boss says to me, "I can't tell you any more than this, but we're going to be making an announcement on Thursday morning. Van Halen is going to do the free concert show that they promised." I'm like, you know what, in me. And Andy Lockridge, our program director, said they're gonna do it. And he said, "I'm part of getting the permit with the city of Dallas." And I'm like, the city of Dallas isn't gonna allow us to block off the city streets on Thursday afternoon. He says, "Yeah, I know." And he says, one of the all-time best lines I've ever heard in my life, and I've used it 1,000 times since. Andy Lockridge, our program director, he said, "I figure it's easier to get forgiveness than permission. So he says, we're fudging the name of the band on the permit. So I don't know. They called it the sniveling twats or they made up some kind of bogus name because,
Yeah.
as John Conklin noticed, there is a brick courtyard at this one place in what we call the west end of downtown Dallas, where my radio station Q102 did a regular Monday night free concert for years. And we had some pretty big bands play there for free on Monday nights. We had 38 Special, we had Kansas. We had some pretty big bands, and up to 20,000 people showed up on a Monday night for these free concerts. So
Wow.
we had history of putting on big free concerts and pulling them off on a regular basis. So we did have a good rapport. We had a good relationship with the city and with that entertainment complex down there. So they knew we could do a show. They knew that we could, pull it off and not have problems. But you couldn't have. In 1991, Van Halen was America's.
Not for long though. Anyway.
Yeah, America's biggest hard rock band, and so there was no way we could say what was really about to happen.
Right.
So they fudged the name on the permit. The city okayed it, and so the word was, here's the deal, you guys. You can't say who the band is. All you can say is, tune in Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. for a special announcement. So that's what we said. We said, we've got something coming up. Don't miss it. Tune in, tomorrow morning, Thursday morning. So on December 4th, 1991, if you were listening to Q102, Texas Best Rock, our morning show, guys, said, today at 4 o'clock, be downtown Dallas at the West End, because Van Halen is going to play a free concert. And of course, half the people...
Everybody calls in at that point, I'm sure.
Half the people thought that it was because you know how radio morning shows are always doing goofs and spoofs and putting stuff on and stuff like that. And our guys were no different. And I'm sure half of the people thought that it wasn't real, and the other half of the people thought, well, maybe I better go. Maybe this is really what Sammy Hagar was talking about a few years ago. And so, of course, we had a few days heads up start. We had remote broadcasts down there. We had our team down there. We had people on top of buildings. We had people backstage. I was on stage bringing the band on. We had a radio station van that was all painted up with the radio station logo that sat at one end of the stage, and so many people got on top of the van to get a better vantage point to see the stage that it collapsed the roof of the station van, and it pancaked. I've never seen anything like this in my life, before or since. It pancaked it like you squash a beer can with your foot.
Oh.
And that was the only casualty of the day. Was we ruined a $40,000 radio station promotion van. It gave up the ghost for the spirit of rock and roll, for free rock from Van Halen.
Amen,
but
brother.
About an estimate, and you know how these crowd estimates are. It's hard to tell because it's not it's not a venue. People aren't in chairs. It's just a mass of people as far as you can see in an intersection downtown. I mean, there were people in 50-story high-rise skyscrapers, lawyers and accountants and financial planners and all this looking out their window. All of a sudden, there was this mass of people that just, congregated downtown. They blocked the cops blocked off the street, and Van Halen comes out on a glorified flatbed truck stage, and a really good PA was put up. If you remember the beginning of Pound Cake,
Yeah.
Eddie had a Black & Decker powered drill hooked into his stack of Marshall amps, and they opened with that song. So while I'm trying to announce to the crowd, that the band's going to play for about an hour, everybody be cool. Everybody be cool with their neighbor. Give everybody enough space.
Be cool, baby. Be cool.
Don't act a fool and everything like that. Trying to make sure everybody has a good time. Eddie's taken this Black & Decker power drill, and he's running it up the crotch of my pants from behind.
Oh, Lord.
And the power drill is hooked into his amps. So he's doing this real, and you can hear it over the PA, and he's giving me a Black & Decker enema while I'm trying to talk. And finally I just gave up, and I just did my intro and said, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
From Van Halen. It was just one of the coolest things. I mean, I've done some unbelievable things in my career. I've flown on U2's private jet to concerts and done a U2 convoy through the streets of Cork that was like being in Beatlemania. It was like being in Hard Day's Night. I couldn't, it's like pinch me. I can't believe this is happening. I've been in Stevie Nicks' bedroom and interviewed her on Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard. I've interviewed Rick Wakeman on the Isle of Man in the clubhouse of the golf course on the 9th green turnaround. I've been to the Berlin Wall with the Rolling Stones.
Oh, wow.
I got to see the Rolling Stones play in the Olympic Stadium where Jesse Owens won all those gold medals in front of Adolf Hitler. I mean, I'm getting covered with goosebumps thinking about that now.
1936 Olympics, yeah.
1936, yeah. Well, the Stones played in the same stadium, and I was there.
Wow.
I mean, I've been blessed with some amazing things, but I got to tell you, nothing tops Van Halen for free in the middle of the street at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, December 4th, 1991. It was, you can't make this stuff up.
So you announced it at 9 a.m.?
7:30 a.m.
7:30.
That morning.
Okay.
That morning. Because that was an edict from the band and from band management. To do otherwise, the city would have shut it down. The city. Remember, the slogan so apropos. It's easier to get forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
That's the story, guys, of this thing. And if you ever see anything on the internet, you will see some people who claim that this is an urban legend, that something like that could never have happened. And that's how improbable it is that some people don't even, they think it's a rumor.
Well, no,
Thank goodness for the video, right?
it is a very iconic Van Halen clip from that era. Absolutely. We all know it well.
I'll say one last thing. The video that's going around out there on the internet and stuff like that, it's pretty good video quality, but the audio leaves a lot to be desired. So what I did was I was able to get the audio and I was able to remaster it. And if you want to hear the audio restored, you can go to my website, inthestudio.net. And I've got the remastered, restored audio. And then if you got the facilities, you could probably match up my restored audio to the video that's going around and have yourself a pretty sweet reproduction of what actually went down that day.
We've got that link of that audio already. Yes, thank you for that.
Sure.
So did you know it was going to be, you must have felt a little excited or possibly uncomfortable announcing that morning that, hey, kids, guess what? Van Halen is playing here today for free downtown.
Uncomfortable? No, it was unbelievable. It was like Sammy promised, and so this was him making good on the promise. Actually, see, I've known Sam since 1979. Sammy Hagar and I first met and did our first interview in 1979 when I was on the radio in Memphis, Tennessee, at Rock 103. And we've been buddies since 1979. And so I know him as a man of his word, a straight shooter. He's not everybody's cup of tea. Some people find him to be too direct or, maybe too opinionated. But at least you always know where the man stands. And he means what he says. And when he said that from the stage of the Cotton Bowl in 1989, I believe that was the year, right? The Monsters of Rock tour.
Yeah, 88.
88. Thanks, guys. 88. He meant it. The only thing is, the other three guys were completely bushwhacked. They were. He didn't check with the other three members of Van Halen or the manager. And it's one of those things whereby if he would have, lobbied, Ed Leffler would have presented, their manager would have presented all of these facts that were very logical on why it was a nice idea, but completely impractical and just couldn't happen. The biggest one, besides the obvious one, which is money, the biggest one is insurance. Even people that, like you guys, that are pretty rock and roll savvy, unless you are an actual big-time concert promoter or big-time band manager, you never realize the X factor in the concert business is liability insurance. I found out that the biggest reason why they stopped doing the big outdoor shows like the Texas Jam every year was because it cost $1 million for one day. to get Lloyd's of London to write an insurance policy on an event like that.
A one-day bond.
Who's going to write that check? Who's going to write that check?
Right.
So if Sammy had gone to Ed Leffler and the other three members of Van Halen and said, "Hey, you know, I think I feel we owe the people of North Texas a free show because my voice has gone out so many times because of allergies, pollen, and stuff." The first thing that the manager would have said, God rest his soul, Ed has since passed away. What a wonderful man. But Ed would have said, "Well, Sam, you know, there's no way we can insure an event like that. It's cost prohibitive." So there's all of these very rational, practical reasons why people don't do something like that. And there's only one good reason in the positive column to do it. It's because Sammy thought that it was the right thing to do. And sometimes, if you live long enough, sometimes you'll find that the righteous thing prevails over all of these other logical reasons. And this was one time in my life where the righteous thing prevailed over all of the logical reasons why not to do it. And it happened. For 1 hour, the perfect fairy tale rock and roll thing happened.
It did. It absolutely did.
Just once, you know? One time.
It's great.
Yes. That
I mean, one time in a lifetime. If you like that, I lived long enough where I saw one time, you know, the karma thing worked.
was there any repercussions the next day in Dallas about it all?
Just one. My boss, I told you, the unsung hero behind the scenes was Q102 program director Andy Lockridge, the guy who kept the secret, had the relationship with the city of Dallas that they allowed the permit, and who had the presence of mind not to tell the city the actual name of the band. So he had to go in to the big boss, the vice president and general manager of the radio station, and say, "Clint, I need to see you about something." And he had to close the door and sit down and say, "We're going to need a new radio station fan."
Nice. That is so cool.
The only casualty
So it was on the home front.
was pancake. It was absolutely toast.
That's excellent. That is excellent. Oh,
So they pulled it off, and Sammy kept his promise.
Yes, the whole band did. And I mean, the whole band did. And I got to tell you, not only is the remastered audio on my website, the whole band was so pumped after this free concert in Dallas on December 4th, 1991, that we went back to their hotel at the Crescent Court, right across the highway, also in downtown Dallas. And they sat down with me, all four members, Michael Anthony, Eddie and Alex Van Halen, and Sammy Hagar. And we did an interview for my nationally syndicated radio show back then in the studio, and they were so pumped. And you can hear the whole thing. I never broadcast the whole thing until just recently. And I put the whole thing, because it is the 30th anniversary of the Dallas Free Concert. I put the whole thing unedited on my website, inthestudio.net. So just go on inthestudio.net.
Looking great.
In the search box, just type in Van Halen.
Very cool.
And it'll pop up there. You could listen to it and stream that. And you could hear how excited they were, so pumped up. It just shows you that these people don't do it for money. They do it because this is what they do. They get off on getting you off. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah. It is a great show, and we're all glad it is up on YouTube to watch and enjoy as well. And your intro to that show is legendary as this show.
Sure
you
is.
know.
Yes,
I put the link in the chat,
Well,
Tony.
thanks. Well, I got to tell you, it's such an honor to be allowed to bring on Van Halen in, my hometown, representing Dallas-Fort Worth, representing my radio station back then, Q102. To share the stage with Eddie Van Halen and Alex Van Halen and Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony. I mean, what an honor. And so, thank you. You're all very, very, very sweet, and I'm honored to be a part of your program, and it's wonderful that you have this fan site and this broadcast. I'm very impressed with what you do.
Well, thank
but
you.
I got to tell you,
we're honored, sir. Absolutely honored.
I got to tell you, without the bands, without the music, and without the fans, they'll tell you. The musicians will tell you. I got to tell you, I have proof that, as the Outlaws once sang, "You are the show." When the pandemic hit and the shows had to cease immediately, and the concert industry came to a halt, it became so apparent immediately that without the fans, without you, these people are just they're like legless. They're a musician without an audience is like a screen door in a submarine. They feel they have no use.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing for a DJ or a podcaster. Without you, I'm just talking to myself in a room. And let me tell you something. If you talk out loud in a room, they lock you up. So you guys better be there on the other side of the microphone, or I'm in a lot of trouble.
Hey, only if they catch you, brother. Only if they catch you.
So no, I'm totally serious, and every professional musician will back me up on this. You are the show.
Well, we all are. We love and are very passionate about music and about Van Halen.
You've been on a thoroughbred. You certainly spend your time and attention on one of the all-time greatest. It's hard for me to accept that we're living in a world without Eddie. I like to think that, you know, his music and his talent transcends, and thank God he left us all of this wonderful music that we can transcends even death.
Yes.
Thank God he left us all of this legacy, and I really appreciate you guys keeping it alive for other people. Certainly people that didn't have a chance either to see them live, or maybe they were too young, and maybe they're just getting into it now.
Yeah.
So you're really providing a very valuable service. And people can go to my website, inthestudio.net, and all of that stuff's free, by the way. There's no subscription. Knock yourself out, you know?
That is so cool.
Awesome.
And let me tell you, I perused it. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got all kinds of Van Halen interviews, like hundreds of like band interviews. Just check it all out, guys. The link in the chat.
Thank you.
Nice.
Tony, can we ask a few questions?
Yeah, sure. You can hear these guys, Redbeard?
I can. Go right ahead. I'm going to take my
Great.
throat's a little dry from all the talking. I'm going to take a sip of something, but you go right ahead and ask me anything you want.
All right. He can
All
hear
right,
me
great.
out of the...
So I wanted to ask him if I mean the rumor that I had read was that Sammy had to actually foot the bill for the show in Dallas. Did he ever hear anything about that?
Well, I can't say for a fact. There was a lot of joking about that after the show, and you can listen to that interview I was telling you about at inthestudio.net and maybe read between the lines. I think Sam felt probably morally obligated, maybe to maybe pay maybe a little more in his share, but it was a one for all for one band. The fact that Ed Leffler was Sam's manager, and then the Van Halen brothers and Michael asked Sammy to bring Ed Leffler over when Sammy joined Van Halen to manage the band. I doubt that Sam got stuck or hosed on this deal. But I can't say for a fact, and like I said, bless his heart, Ed Leffler has passed away, so I'd be glad to have researched it for you, except Ed has passed on.
Yeah.
And so I think that, probably, we probably will never know. From what I know about Sammy, if he did pay the lion's share, he probably was happy to do so, just to make good on his promise. That's just my opinion, though. I have no facts to back that up.
Well, it's a legendary show now because of that. It's going to live on for years. I almost wish they would put a marker on the spot. The greatest American rock and roll band of all time played here.
Eddie's solo in Judgment Day was absolutely melt your face killer. Absolutely cool. I do have one question. Well, I got a couple of questions, but I got one about Sammy that day. We've talked about, back and forth about, what his portion of this was and how much he had to pay for this to make it happen. And it kind of seemed to me from watching all the YouTube footage, all the videos, that something was kind of on his mind. He was bothered about something, or maybe he didn't feel real good. Mainly, I just got a vibe from that. Is that anything that I'm tuning into at all? Or because you were there, did he show any signs of being maybe just not feeling right or bothered by something?
Wow. I didn't pick up on that at all.
Okay.
The only thing I can say is that they had just done a show the night before in Louisiana.
And he did explain that. He did say that. He talks about it.
And
Yeah.
normally they would sleep and rest his throat
Mm-hmm.
till about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and he wouldn't do sound check until about 6
Okay.
on the day of a show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here it is, 4 o'clock, and he's having to sing outdoors, which
Yes.
you have to sing. I'm not a singer, but I've been in this business long enough, and I've had enough professional singers tell me that when you're outdoors in free air,
Mm-hmm.
you have to sing a lot harder because the building, the acoustics, the walls, and the ceiling, there's nothing there to help you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The sound just dissipates and it just goes into free air.
Excellent.
So they also, you got to remember now, this was a temporary portable stage
Mm-hmm.
with a temporary PA system, with a temporary monitor system, and I don't think they had in-ear monitors yet. So he's having to push.
I got you. Sure.
And he's
Sure.
having to push much earlier in the day than normal.
Mm-hmm.
It's outside in free air, and he just sang, what, 12 hours earlier?
That's it. Sure.
A whole show.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
So if you're picking up that he's maybe a little rough, or
Mm-hmm.
he's worried maybe about blowing his voice out again, which is,
Yeah.
remember, this guy's got history of having throat problems in this location.
Absolutely. Sure.
A couple of times. So
Yes.
he's probably worried about that, maybe.
Well, his singing was wonderful. I mean, he did, and you're right. It's tough to sing outdoors.
Yeah.
And how hot was it that day? Was there any temperature going on, or?
It was a gorgeous. You know what's funny? I'm so glad you brought that up, because it got really nice here this afternoon, and I thought, wow, I'm going to have to mention to these guys on this Halenville thing that today it was very much like the day, Thursday, December 4, 1991. It was about 70 degrees and
wow.
sunny.
Wow.
It was beautiful. You couldn't
Wow.
have ordered up in early December. You couldn't have ordered up a more beautiful afternoon. It was picture perfect.
Nice.
That's
It was
wonderful.
probably 70, 72 degrees easy. So
That's
no, the day was gorgeous.
Excellent.
And see, what happens is at this time of year down here, before the first hard freeze,
Mm-hmm.
when it gets to be really warm in late fall, early winter, is when the pollen is the heaviest.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's right.
So what looks to you and me like a gorgeous day could be actually the worst conditions for a singer
Yeah. Yeah.
outdoors.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Well, he held it together. His voice through the whole thing, and they played a pretty good number of songs.
They did a long set.
Yeah, 11 songs.
And they were limited really by the city. I'm sure they would have played more, but it was an hour and off. I mean, see, it was Thursday afternoon. There was like 1 million people downtown coming out of those skyscrapers,
Yeah.
and it was time for rush hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you gave your opening, you said you made a comment. If I remember this correctly, you made a comment that there's secretaries typing at their typewriters. Is that what you said in the beginning of it?
I'm kind of an old fart. In 91,
Word.
I don't know, did we have word processors, typewriters?
He said warriors hanging out the windows.
Yeah. And with one ear out the window. That's right. Oh, geez, man. What a day. That is just unbelievable.
The band looked like they were having a great time that day.
I would imagine the band
Yeah.
and everyone there associated with putting that on was ready for the plug to be pulled at any time anyway, because the city was just choked. It got choked by Van Halen.
I don't remember
That is
seeing
awesome.
one cop. I don't remember seeing one cop or one threat. There was no like heavy oxidity, no police presence or anything like that. Like I said, what we had done, a guy named Jerry Thompson was the local promoter that had done a series of concerts for about 5 years with Q102, my radio station, at that very, very location in the Dallas West End. And like I said, we had it down, and they had crowd control, traffic control, and so I think the city of Dallas and the police and everything like that, it wasn't their first rodeo.
Yeah.
They felt that they had a precedent and they knew what to expect. The crowd was 2.5 times bigger than any other, rock free concert crowd we had attracted with our radio station event to that spot before. So it was just the size of the sheer crowd and also the time of day. Normally, our Monday night free concerts would start, I think, at probably 8. So all of the office downtown, business people had cleared out 3 hours earlier on those Monday night, that Monday night free concert series. This was at 4 o'clock. This was at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon.
Well, Sammy even makes a comment. He says, I don't know how long they're going to let us play. And they didn't have a set list. They were talking about what song you want to play next on like every song almost, it seemed. Wow, it was just so outstanding. You were so fortunate to be there, my man.
Well, everybody that was there was absolutely blessed to be there. We, of course, had reports for weeks and months afterwards that people were listening in their cars stuck in traffic. Dallas-Fort Worth is a very large metroplex. It's very spread out. And so there were people listening to the Q102 broadcast of the event that, of course, couldn't penetrate the crush of people in the traffic and stuff like that.
Sure. Were you guys live simulcasting?
Well, not the music, no.
Okay.
That would have taken lots of preparation, lots of setup, lots of testing.
Yeah.
None of that was possible. That would have screwed the whole deal and would have let the cat out of the bag.
I got you.
This was like really guerrilla radio and guerrilla concert production. Like,
at its finest.
Your flash mobs now. This was flash mob, Van Halen flash mob concert.
Well said.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
You could tell they were very loose. They were very loose. There's one point where Eddie was cracking up. You could see him laughing. It was almost like they it wasn't a work day for them. You could tell they were just having fun. It wasn't a work day. It was like a day off where they were just having a good time.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you picked up on that. I'm so glad you said that, and I'm so glad that it comes across in the video in that it's so wonderful to see your heroes and that are so, and they have to be rehearsed, just like, I mean, look, I don't know who your favorite NFL football team is, but let's face it, it ain't a pickup football game. It ain't sandlot football. It is highly, highly practiced and rehearsed. And it's the same thing with your world class, bands like Van Halen, they work arduously for months to rehearse a set before it goes out on tour. But you're right, this particular show of the free concert in Dallas, December 4th, 1991, was almost like what you would see the band do, back in their garage band days, back in carport days, or in somebody's basement, or somebody's backyard parties. When Michael Anthony used to wear the gold lame Elvis outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Redbeard, I wanted to ask you too. So the crowd, I had seen an estimate that it was about 50,000 people, and I know some of the people up in the front, up at the barricade in the front. I know that Sammy was concerned that I guess a lot of people were pushing forward, and he was afraid that some people were going to get hurt.
Well, yeah, of course, and that's what I was saying from the stage before I did my intro. Was that I was just trying to remind everybody what a unbelievable opportunity this was, and not to screw it up, not to get carried away. And there was one other incident besides the radio station van, and I think it was as far as I know, it was a total accident. But I think the crush of people trying to get a better view of the stage, I think there was a plate glass window of a Italian restaurant on the corner.
The Spaghetti Factory? The spaghetti.
Yeah, I think the plate glass window got busted. And that was
Next level.
expensive. What I was most worried about was somebody would get hurt. I mean, you could get killed with the cuts that you could get from something like that. But I don't think anyone was injured, but I do think there was probably a pretty good insurance claim the next day on a plate glass window at the Italian restaurant. That's the only two things, was our station van. And the station van was very close to the Spaghetti Factory restaurant. So that particular corner was ground zero, I think.
There were kids on light poles and stop signs, and yeah.
Yes. That's exactly right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a miracle none of those poles came down.
I think one of the poles did come down, but again, it's
Good thing it didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah. So their next show is 2 days later in Mississippi. So they had a little bit of a break there to get to Mississippi. I guess a day at least to travel.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, we all convened to the Crescent Court Hotel, and you can hear in my interview with the guys, they were sky high. They did not come down for an hour or two after the show. They were so up. They were sky high from the experience. And I was so lucky that I had all four of them mic'd, and I got it all on tape. And nice. It's on my website, inthestudio.net. They were just pumped. It was really cool. It was really cool, like I said, to see, the biggest band in America at the time reacting like high school kids, with a garage band. They were just happy to play and have people that close. When they play a big arena and stuff like that, the audience is still pretty much, pretty far away, and you can't see really more than about the first 5 rows because it's in blackness. There's, a lot of security and stuff like that. This was like the old days of Gazzari's in the Hollywood Sunset Strip. People just, you know, the amoeba effect. People, it looks like a giant amoeba out there, and just, you know, people just hanging off of every ledge, and there were people on top of buildings, people hanging out windows, on top of vehicles, on top of light poles, every, you know, vantage point they could. And because it's a crossroads downtown, it's a real canyon effect. So, you know, people were like 20, 30 stories above with windows open, looking down and waving.
Right.
It was kind of like New Year's Eve, only it was December 4th, 1991.
So Redbeard, you said that the stage was a makeshift stage. We all know Sam likes to climb the monkey bars up top quite often. Did he feel safe? He did. Did he feel safe up there? You say it was a makeshift stage.
Well, when I say makeshift, look, what I'm saying is it wasn't a permanent facility like in some nightclubs, or, you know, it's not a permanent stage like in a I don't know, Madison Square Garden or something like that. You know, it is erected on the spot out of scaffolding, and after the concert was over, it gets disassembled. That's what I meant by a makeshift. It's portable.
Yeah.
I guess the right word I should have used is portable. It was a portable stage. How's that?
Right.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Sam climbed way up there, and there were people looking out the windows right beside him almost.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. How you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I really think that they should erect some sort of plaque there on the spot. This is the only evidence that I saw was this Van Halen logo on a street sign right in front of where the stage was. That's the only.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool that it was marked there.
That's very cool.
It's awesome.
Well, like I said, you know, it was this event. It was this one-time thing. You couldn't recreate it. You couldn't plan it again. If you tried to do it, there's a million reasons why it wouldn't work. And the stars just kind of lined up, and Sammy's strength of will to will it to happen is a great credit to him, because when he said it in '88 from the stage of the Cotton Bowl, he apparently had meant every word of it and wasn't going to let it go. And like I said, there were all kinds of people and all kinds of reasons not to do it. And he insisted, and he made sure that Van Halen made good on his promise, and they did it. And I think I don't know, in some ways, I think it restored a lot of people's faith in rock and roll and in the right reasons for doing things. You know, and people doing what they say they're going to do, and doing it for, you know, all the right reasons, not doing it just for fame or glory or money. It's just nice every once in a while, like I said, when we're told constantly that things like that can't happen or can't happen anymore, that people don't do things for just for the sake of the love doing it, and it's just nice every once in a while when the good guys win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did Q102 have any concerts after that? Were they allowed to?
Oh yeah. Like I said, all in all, I mean, there was no like fallout. The city never came down on us. They had a great sense of humor. Now, mind you, if it would have gone sideways, if there had been problems, there may have, it may have left a really different taste in the mouths of the city of Dallas, the band, the radio station. But the fact is, the band did it for the right reasons. Their fans and Q102's fans picked up on that, and they responded in kind. That's where the karma circle gets completed. If you treat your audience with love and respect, it comes back to you. If you sow good seeds, you get a good harvest. And I think Sammy and Van Halen knew that. And so they did the right thing for the right reason, and the audience responded in the right way. Everybody was extremely cool. There was no downside. I want to make sure you don't misunderstand. There was no fallout, no downside.
Right.
That's great. That's great. And it potentially could have been catastrophic, but it wasn't. So it turned out to be a magical, like you said, the karma circle really closed there, and it just worked out perfect. Couldn't have been any better.
It really couldn't have been. It couldn't have been any. Right down to the weather I was telling you about. The weather, the crowd, the performance, as you guys noted, it was a great show. They didn't phone it in.
Yeah.
They did not.
No, it is. It stands out. We all know that show well.
So, all I can say is, God bless you guys for keeping it alive, keeping the spirit that was on display that day. It's 30 years ago, and I think it's so cool that you guys are helping me recall that time and keeping it alive. Every once in a while, some of my peers from the old days say that those days are gone and that we'll never see those times again. But now I'm going to be able to say, well, I met a group of people at a place in your heart and in your mind called Halenville, where this kind of thing can happen every Wednesday night.
That's right. That's right. Well said.
You got it.
That was perfect, Redbeard.
Very well said.
All right.
Tony, I think Holly had a question in the chat.
What is Holly's question?
She wanted to know who was Eddie Van Halen's guitar tech that day, if Redbeard knows.
Sammy's guitar tech.
Was it Zeke Clark?
Honestly, you got me. I should know. I'm sorry, I don't know.
You know what? It might have actually been Matt Bruck, because I think Matt Bruck did do that tour. He was Eddie's tech at that point.
I apologize. I don't know. I'm not a player. I'm not a musician, and I'm not a geek on guitar stuff. Now, I've got a lot of friends, and they probably are are listening and watching this, and they're shouting at the screen right now because they know. A lot of my friends know, but I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Matt Bruck, though. I do think it
Yeah.
was. So.
Now I'll tell you this. Here's some trivia, and I mentioned this to John over the weekend. Here's some really coincidental thing. Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony played in Dallas-Fort Worth exactly 30 years to the weekend, past Friday night here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I just thought that was uncanny. And I've got some photos of that show, and I'll send them to John Conklin, and maybe you guys can use those on your stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Definitely, that would be great. Yeah, when you told me that, I was blown away by that. I couldn't believe it. That the it was like this was just all too coincidental. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Yeah.
That's just too coincidental. And so I'll share with you some of those photos. But no, I'm sorry, I don't know who was the technical crew of the band that day. Like I said, I was getting a Black & Decker enema from Eddie with power drill as I was trying to talk to the audience.
It's outstanding.
Yeah.
And everybody, you got to check. You have to go to the website and listen to that interview, because, like Redbeard says, the adrenaline was pumping still from the band, from just getting off the stage and back to the hotel, and he caught them at that moment where the adrenaline was still going in there. So it's a great interview to listen to.
Yeah.
So
all I did was open up the microphones and hit record. They were just rolling, and they were sky high after that show, and I was able to capture it on tape. And I've been sitting on that tape for 30 years. I had used excerpts of it, but I'd only used about maybe 20% of that interview in past years. I found when I went back and revisited the whole thing, I thought, wow, there's tons of back and forth here that no one's ever heard.
Right.
So
Excellent.
I thought maybe, particularly since Eddie has passed, I thought, this is kind of historic. Maybe I should just put it up and let people listen to it and not edit it and everything. Just put it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's so the link is you put the link up there, Tom, in the studio.net. And listen, everybody, there's over 30 years probably of other great stuff on that website in the studio.net. I mean, we all know Redbeard from growing up, waiting for a new Van Halen album to come out, waiting for the 2-hour interview with Van Halen, So it's been so great to speak to you tonight, finally, after all these years.
It's my pleasure, really. It's my pleasure, and as I said earlier, good on you for continuing this legacy. I think it's a wonderful thing that you all do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know if there are any other questions.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions in there? You guys have any other questions?
Apparently, it was Matt Bruck in 91.
I want to apologize for messing up the video thing, and thank you for being so understanding. I'm out on my horse ranch, and we don't have very good internet out here, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. No worries. This has been great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
This has been awesome.
Thank
you.
Thanks for hanging out. Yep.
Yeah, we appreciate it so much, Redbeard. And if you get a chance, if you shoot me those pictures, we'll put them up on the show next week. We'll talk about it some more. And And thanks for being a friend of the show, and we appreciate you being on and all the trouble you went through to just get you on here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's no trouble at all.
Please come back.
Pleasure.
Please come back.
Anytime, please do. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, listen, stay in touch. You can find me at inthestudio.net. Email is redbeard@inthestudio.net. So keep in touch, you guys too, and God bless you all. And happy holidays, everybody.
You too, Redbeard.
You too.
Take care.
Thank you, Redbeard.
Bye bye.
All right. Thanks again.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, he was, let me tell you, what an outstanding guest he was, right?
Unbelievably awesome.
You know what? A true professional. He's a legend. He's been doing this over 50 years. You saw us before the show went on. We were trying to scramble to try to get it to work. It was like, oh, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. And as soon as we went live, boom, what a pro, right? A complete pro. He just, boom. That was unbelievable. I was so impressed with that. He didn't skip, didn't miss a beat.
Not the tool, the technician, right?
Yeah, got it exactly.
I don't have an arm anymore.
Yeah, right.
Tony, you took one for the team, man. Thank you.
I need a pole, a selfie stick.
Arm,
sit there and
man, that was
from
awesome,
my lap.
So everybody, you got to go to inthestudio.net because there's a treasure trove of stuff on there to go through.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been doing this
put all that up there. Yeah,
and like I said,
it's there.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame license his library there to because there's a wealth of information on all these great artists that he's interviewed over the years, and there's great Van Halen stuff on there too, as Tom pointed out. So inthestudio.net, Redbeard, drop him an email, tell him how great he was on here. He was really he was probably, since I've been here, my favorite I think that might have been my favorite thing out of them all. He was just great.
Keith, I know Keith said select no video, but it'll work. We tried for like 30 minutes. We tried.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
We could have him up there. We could hear him, but he couldn't hear us.
Yeah.
We have a very special announcement.
Cool.
Right now.
Right here, right?
Yeah, right here, right now.
It is. We have a birthday in the house today.
Ooh.
Holly Lewis, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Holly.
I hope your day has been outstanding.
Ready?
Miss Holly. Yeah. So are we going to do trivia tonight?
Sounds good to me.
We may have to rename trivia from Van Halen trivia to Van Halen Almost Impossible trivia. All right.
You're playing those dominant 13 and 9th chords? Is that what you're playing?
It sounded like that, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
And everybody in the chat, thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you guys very much.
Yeah. All right. I've got some trivia questions loaded in here. I've got more than one.
I guess you could say you'd be playing the minor 7 or minor 9th if you're playing upper extensions, but that's a whole nother conversation. Don't want to bore you, right?
So
I like that tonality though. Oh, there you go.
$1 million.
And a couple of picks and some mammoth stickers. Yes. All right. So this is our 3rd or 4th week doing this Van Halen trivia. So told you guys it was going to get a little harder each time. All right. So, all right. Okay, so this question involves a picture. Okay. So let me show you guys the picture. Where it is. All right, so I'm going to give you a second to look at this picture. Okay. And I'm going to throw a question up on the screen too with the picture.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. The first correct answer that we see in the chat
Good luck, you
is
guys.
our winner. Yeah. All right. So there's your picture. Okay. All right. And the question that goes with this picture is this. What famous eatery was this 1986 photo shoot location? There it is. Where was that? What famous eatery?
Come on, guys. You know this.
Campbell said Sid's. Taco Bell.
All right. So we're gonna move on because it may be a while on the answer.
You know, every time you say that, Tony, it's
Just I'll keep an eye on the
Got a truck.
We're getting warm.
Mascara.
We are getting warm. So yeah, I'll show it once more. Right there. You remember the photo shoot with the two girls in the bikinis?
vividly.
Right on. Vividly. All right. I don't see it yet. I haven't told these guys, so I'm going to have to. I don't know if any of you guys know Charles, John,
I know.
Tommy.
I know.
Okay.
I got a guess. I don't know if it's right.
All right. So it has been heard by my ears that our friend David Lee Roth has added more tour dates to the Vegas thing. Yeah,
I feel bad for Keith Campbell because he thought he was buying the last show.
I was thinking the same thing.
Now
Keith,
it's not.
Absolutely.
Got screwed.
Absolutely.
Sucks.
That's a huge negative. I was so sad when I heard
Nice
that.
just seeing just another show.
yeah,
Damn.
when I saw that news feed, Keith, you were the first one that came to mind.
Me too. Me too. Yep.
I thought of Keith Campbell. Damn it.
I thought of that line when they go, son of a bitch. I think the actual line is, you son of a bitch. Like that.
What's that from, Tommy?
I don't remember. I just remember the line. I want to say it's like a National Lampoons or like a Caddyshack or one of those kind of things. Like maybe like a Clark Griswold kind of phrase. But I don't remember what movie.
It's not ringing a bell with me, Tom, and I'm trying. I'm
All
thinking.
those movies run together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You guys can do this. You guys know this.
All right. I thought that we were going to have a really cool unboxing this week, but I was wrong. That'll be next week. Yeah. Mail slow after Thanksgiving. Very slow.
Quiznos.
All right. So we'll post the answer on the replay if no one gets it. There'll be a new one next week, but they're not going to get any easier.
Come on, somebody get it. Let's go.
I'll keep my money.
I've got faith in these guys.
All right. So also, let's see here. Wolf has added a couple of dates there at the end.
These are all over in Europe, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they announced a couple, 2-3 dates yesterday morning. So, yeah.
I wonder if that's why they changed mine.
Are these the dates with Kiss?
Oh no, those are way off.
It appears, yeah, at the end, yeah, those are Kiss dates.
So after he does Scorpions, he's doing multiple dates with Kiss instead of one?
Well, now it's more than one.
Gotcha.
Now it's a couple, 3, however many. Yeah.
Did you see the announcement today for Rockville? Yeah, it is May 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd at the Daytona International Speedway. And on the Thursday, it goes each day. There's different bands. Thursday, Kiss is headlining with let's see, Five Finger Death Punch, Papa Roach, In This Moment, Black Label Society, Clutch, Down, Mammoth, WVH, Bad Wolves, Fuel, Tetrarch, Il Nino, Shaman's Harvest, Plush, Gemini Syndrome, Solence, Oxymorons, Mood Ring, and more to be announced. So that's the first. That's the Thursday. Oh, hold on.
And that's all in one day?
That's all in one day. That's the first day, Thursday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a Daytona International Speedway, and then that would be the May 19th, and then May 20th you have. Here's the list for that one: Korn, Breaking Benjamin, Megadeth, Seether, Parkway Drive, Skillet, Ministry, In Flames, Seven Dust, Hatebreed, Black Dahlia, Murder, Don Brocco, New Year's Day, Dead, Stick to Your Guns. Continues on right there. That's the Friday. That would be the May 20th. May 21st, you got. Look at this one. Guns N' Roses, Shinedown, Rise Against, Bush, Jerry Cantrell, Nothing More, Baroness, Dirty Honey, John 5 is in there, Sick of It All, Agnostic Front. Wow, look at that.
Yeah,
that's an awesome lineup right
there. That's a great day right there. And then the final day, which would be Sunday, is look at this. Foo Fighters.
Wow.
Smashing Pumpkins, Jane's Addiction, Hailstorm, The Pretty Reckless, The Struts, Poppy, the Hue, I don't know, Spirit Box, Bones UK, The Chats, Lilith Czar, Poor Stacy, Ride Key, Motor Sister. Wow, that's a pretty good lineup, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know Jane's Addiction was still together. Are they doing like a reunion tour next year?
They must be.
They must be.
So it's called. Here's the poster for the event. Welcome to Rockville.
Wow.
Nice.
Bypass.
Where is this at?
It's at the Daytona International Speedway.
Oh, at the
Daytona Beach.
Speedway.
Yep.
Yeah. So I wonder if you get passes. I wonder if you can bring like, campers and trailers onto the infield. I don't know, like they do for the races there.
Huh.
Yeah. It's pretty big.
Know.
Mammoth was Keith Campbell. They're on day 1 with Kiss.
Yep. May 19th, it looks like. That's the Thursday. So I imagine the stage will be right on the front stretch there, facing the bleachers. So they got a lot of room there. They could put a lot of people in there.
All right. So before we get out of here, I'm going to give you kids a couple of more minutes. I'll say this, and it may be a fast food joint or that somebody typed in, but one of you is super close. But while I'm going to give you a couple more minutes while we go through, and anybody wanting custom guitar picks made? Look something like that. Legend Picks. Greg Collins, his links are down in the description if you want a guitar made. I know just the guy. Neil Daly, Daily Custom Designs. His links are down below. He can make you something that looks like that or something different. But hit him up. Brendan B. Squared handcrafts these cool custom cigar box guitars, and he can make you one, and they can look like this. His links are down below. Hit Brendan up. And for those of you with Ink on Your Body, Ink the Original, essential tattoo care, high-grade formulas with organic ingredients to hydrate and protect, environment and reef safe, fight the fade. Yes. All right. Let's see. Somebody would have brought it to my attention if there is. So, you guys, nice.
Olive Garden.
I'm cracking up at Alessandra's suggestions she's putting in there. It's hilarious.
Yeah, stroke Quiznos.
Not pink top.
Show the pick again, Tony, she said.
That?
No, the pick, I think, of the David Lee Roth.
Oh, the picture.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen, Mike Subs, Tony Roma's, Hooters.
All right. One last glimpse before I give you the answer. And I win for a change. All right, one more look. Where was this photo shoot, kids? Where? What?
Holly Lewis and Irv's Burgers.
In California, in Los Angeles.
Where is Where's Holly's? Hang on, let me scrolling down. All right.
Since 1950.
Where is? Yeah, there it is, right there.
Oh wow,
Holly, you did it
Holly!
on
My
your
goodness,
birthday.
I didn't even see. Oh my goodness, yes.
So if I widen it out,
There it is. Wow, Holly, you're awesome.
Wow.
Holly,
On
happy
her
birthday.
man.
Is it a truck?
Holly?
Oh, you got $1 million for your birthday from
That's
Tony.
the best money there is, right there. That's awesome.
$1 million bucks.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Hey, Tony, is
Burgers.
that one of those mobile trucks?
No, it's like on a street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic burger stand. That's what it is.
Do you love it, Charles?
I've never eaten there. I just knew that's where the thing was shot. I've never eaten there.
All right.
I love it.
That's so awesome, Holly. Excellent.
There it
I eat
is.
there every Tuesday. What do you mean?
Holly Lewis winning on her birthday.
Excellent, Holly.
Congratulations,
She
Holly.
already has one. She wants to give it to someone else.
Well, we got new prizes, Holly, that I'm sure might be coming your way in the next week or so. Not quite ready yet, but yeah. Keith Campbell, you were so close, and you being a West Coast guy, I thought for sure you knew the answer. All right, kids.
Oh, Jeff K. Pink's. I've never eaten at Pink's either. Wow. Yeah.
I've eaten pink, but never at Pink's.
Hey, there's a lot of great places in California to eat. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, that's cool, bro. That's cool.
He's from New York, he just said, Tony.
Yeah, but I think he lives in San Diego, though.
But he lives in
Right.
He's hard to pin down. He's always moving.
Yeah. I thought he lived in
San Diego,
too.
huh?
I think he does, yeah. I think he's originally from New York.
Live in San Diego.
He makes references to both, so it's very hard to tell.
I wish I lived in San Diego.
Maybe he's bi-coastal.
Jeff, you're talking about what Ed picks up on the stage during One Way to Rock. I don't know what that is either. He picks it up, he looks at it, and then he tosses it. It looks like a ball cap to me. I would call it a ball cap, but I'm not positive.
What is the thing that Alex Van Halen does this with in Live Without a Net? Is that a cigarette? Because he puts the whole thing in his mouth.
I'm
That's
sure.
the grossest thing.
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He puts it in backwards, but he grabs it from somewhere that's not his cigarette.
Yeah.
I have a theory, but
I saw a little
metal. It's about that long. The camera all of a sudden comes up on him. Put the clues together. He takes it, goes like this. It doesn't look like a cigarette if you look at it close. I was always curious though what you guys thought.
Yeah.
You know, right?
One thing in the Dallas show that I noticed, we touched on it earlier, was you could hear them talking in between songs. You know.
Yeah, Tony, can you play it? Can you play that little clip?
Yeah, I can. I had never heard it, and we revved up the audio a little.
Yeah, maybe this was what Charles was.
This is, hey guys, I've watched that Dallas show at least 5 dozen times. Well, that might be pushing it, but I've watched it so many freaking times I can't remember. But I remember it end to end.
We'll play
And
a clip.
I'm telling you, there was something. I don't know what it was, but there was something. He might have just maybe, I don't know, maybe just didn't feel good. Maybe he had some jet
I
lag.
think Redbeard explained it pretty well. It could have been that they just sang 12 hours earlier. He was
could be. Well, but there's a segment that Tony might show here where you can actually hear audio where Eddie even asks him. He says, "Hey, man, are you okay?"
Yeah, you don't seem into it or something, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting that audio is on there because you can pick up on the vibe a little bit. But hey, rock and roll is a tough business, you guys, and these guys rock and they roll town to town.
I think it was
excellent show. You know,
closely you can hear him say something about I can't hear. I guess I guess he means the monitors because I can't hear anything or something.
And it could have been anything. It could have been anything because they want it right. You know, he's not only there to give them a free show, he's there to give them the best show of their life. Right. The whole band's there to do that. They weren't pulling any punches.
That was 91, so they weren't using any of your monitors back then, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it was a different time. You're right. Absolutely.
Let me introduce this clip. So you could hear them talking in between songs. After a couple songs, you hear them say, "What do you want to do? Run around?" And then a couple of more songs go by, and they end probably the 4th or 5th song, and you hear this. So listen closely. This is not video. This is only audio. All right. You hear that?
He said something about I also can't hear anything, something like that.
Right. That was his comeback.
I don't know if he was saying that the crowd wasn't too into it, or if Eddie was asking Sammy if he wasn't too into it.
You can clearly hear Sammy or Eddie say, "Hey, you don't seem like you're too into it."
That's Eddie's voice. That sounds like Eddie to me.
Tony, play that one more time real quick. Now that I know what I'm listening for.
Right after the music ends.
Audio issue.
It sounded like to me he said, "Well, it's because I can't hear anything."
Right.
Because I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
But since he was really into it, well, it's because I can't hear anything. Like, well, motherfucker, I can't hear a damn thing here. Like, that's what I got, like, super frustrated. Well, it's because I can't hear anything. That's what I heard.
You know? Yeah. That makes sense. That's plausible.
Absolutely. That definitely sounds like Eddie's voice. Yeah.
It does.
It's like, are you not into it? Or like, I mean, because, you've been there where it's like, if you're getting a bad vibe off someone, it's like, I was feeling it, but if you're not, okay, I guess we're not going to do this really.
Yeah. I just kind of picked up on it a little bit. I have a tendency, guys, I apologize, to pull negative things out from time to time. I apologize for it, but hey, what do you want, guys? I love you guys.
On the flip side, like I was saying before, though, they seemed very loose, the band. Like it was almost like a day off. Like this was kind of like, like they were cutting class or something.
Yes. Right. They were having fun. I mean, they were having fun,
they're like when they did that show on that tour, especially too, there were spots that they had to hit. Like Eddie during the guitar solo for Judgment Day, he had to be standing on the platform so that the spotlight would hit him and do like a strobe effect when he was doing this part.
Yeah.
Right. So he knew he had to be in a spot. So they had to think constantly about where they had to be to change his pedal board. So I think this was just kind of like a day off. You know what I mean? They were just like having fun. And you could tell it. I mean, there's one point that he was cracking up laughing. I forget what song it was in.
And at the end, I think it was the end of Judgment Day. I believe it's either at the beginning of end of Judgment Day or the beginning of the third song, which is kind of the same thing. Sammy comes up behind Eddie and gives him this big hug, and he's saying something in his ear. Wonderful moment. Wonderful moment. So, and that obviously wasn't reflecting any negativity out of Sammy at all.
And there was one part where Sammy was Eddie was trying to do the guitar solo, and Sammy's hammer's in the way. Did you see me kind of swatted him away because he was right? I forget what song that was in.
Yeah.
And we want to thank Redbeard again for being here with us via phone. That was so cool.
That was really outstanding. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Man.
Let me tell you, what a great guy. My emails, he answered me, followed up. I mean, listen, it possibly could have gotten better, but you know what I mean? The fact that Sammy and Mike were in town, he even tried to see if he could get them to do a little video for us on the show, but they were only in there and they were flying to San Antonio, I think, for the next night.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't work out, but it wasn't from lack of trying. Redbeard actually put in the management and stuff like that. So he went way above and beyond.
Yeah. Thank you, Redbeard.
Thank you so much.
Been great. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you, John. Thank you for
John,
getting all that up, man.
You know, it's just so weird because just the way, like we were saying at the beginning of the show, the way this worked out is my wife and I were in Dallas. First time I was ever in Dallas. We just happened to be in that spot where they had the concert. And I'm thinking, I've been here before. I said to her, and she's like, I go, I don't know. It's something I couldn't figure it out. And then I finally figured it out. And then just the fact that then I'm starting to do some Googling. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like just a little over a month. It's 30-year anniversary of it. And then on top of that, then I said, well, let me contact Redbeard because he was there. And I knew Redbeard from in the studio. And I was like, let me give it a shot. I'll send him an email. And I did. And then Redbeard answers back and says, well, ironically, Sammy and Mike are playing here tonight, the night before the 30th anniversary. What are the odds of that? So it was just like the whole thing was just crazy, you know?
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So cool, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Sometimes cool things like that pop up and you don't even realize it. You know what I mean? And now that, Van Halen is over, it's like things like this. If we ever have any ideas like this, pursue them a little bit. You never know. It could be a cool show, right?
Wow. Really cool guy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to try to get him back on when he can come on.
Yeah, and I'd like to get him to talk about just his whole career overall, interviewing
absolutely
ZZ Top, other things, even more about the Van Halen stuff. So now everybody's got their homework to do. They can go on the website, go through all his interviews with Van Halen and other bands, and then maybe we can have him back on again, and we'll talk about his whole career and all this stuff.
Absolutely. Check that site out. New stuff out there. You're gonna dig it.
Cool.
But those immortal words at the start of that show, and that historic Free Dallas show, we all know those words. So we're gonna waltz out of here on the words of Redbeard and the music of John Conklin. Thanks everybody for being here. Tommy John, Analog Kid, Charles Green.
Love you guys.
We'll be right back here next Wednesday on the 15th. Get your Christmas shopping done.
That's it. Don't procrastinate like I do every year. There you go.
Right on.
Nice.
All right, kids. Have a great week. We'll see you hopefully right back here next Wednesday. All right.
Song on the new Van Halen album called Right Now. And it's got a line in it. It says, reach out and grab the moment. Right here. Right now. Merry Christmas, Dallas. From Van Halen!